All right, so two different types of problems here. One of them has a square root, one of them has a square. They're both really similar to each other. Just the way we're going to get rid of them is a little different. And then for the second one, the answer we get in the end is going to be a little bit different. So in the first one, what do we want to do to set this problem up? It's three things. Okay, line of equality. Circle variable, and box what? The square root. Now we're boxing the square root because we need to get that square root by itself before we can get rid of it. Alright, so everything that's in the box here is kind of stuck there. We can't do anything with it until we get rid of the stuff that's outside the box, so that 3 and the 4. Which one should we get rid of first, the 3 or the 4? The 4, okay. And how do we get rid of a plus 4? Okay, we're going to subtract 4. We do that on both sides. And when we subtract 4 on the left side, those 4's cancel each other out, leaving what?
3. Square root of 3 plus 4.
Okay, and on the right side, 19 minus 4 is? 15. Okay, now what?
Divide by 3.
Okay, now we'll divide by 3 on both sides. We're trying to get rid of this 3 that's outside the square root still. So we divide by 3. And when we do that, those 3's on the left side cancel, leaving what?
Square root of 3 plus 4.
Okay, and on the right side, 15 divided by 3 is?
5.
Okay, now the square root's by itself, so what can we do to get rid of it?
Square.
We're going to square it. Alright, so we're going to square both sides. We're going to square this side to get rid of the square root. Remember, square goes up and to the right, and we square the right side also. And when we do that, the square and the square root cancel, leaving what?
3e plus 4.
And on the right side?
25.
25. Okay, so we've gotten rid of 3 things so far. We got rid of the 3 and the 4 outside the square root. Then we got rid of the square root. Now what?
Subtract 4.
Alright, so now we need to get rid of that plus 4 that was inside the square root, but not anymore because the square root's gone. 4's cancel, leaving what?
3e equals 21.
Okay, then what?
Divide by 3.
And the 3's cancel, leaving E.
Equals 7.
In this one, we're gonna start this exactly the same way. We're gonna circle our variable. We're gonna draw our line of equality, and we're even gonna put a box around something. What are we gonna put a box around here? Okay, we're gonna put a box around the square and then what's being squared, which in this case, what's being squared is the parentheses. So we're putting our box around that. And again, that's a reminder that we have to get rid of the stuff that's outside the box first. So what do I need to get rid of before I can get rid of the square? There's 2 things. The 5 and the 1. Which one of those should we get rid of first? The 1. And how do we get rid of that minus 1?
Add 1.
Add 1. Alright, so we'll add 1 on both sides. And on the left side, the 1's cancel, leaving
E parentheses 2f minus 3 and square 125.
Okay, then what?
Then we divide by 5.
Okay, now we're going to get rid of that 5, so we're going to divide by 5. And those 5's are going to cancel each other out, leaving
2f minus 3 squared.
Okay, so now the only thing we have on the left side is that square. Alright, and then when we simplify on the right side, we get 25. So now I need to get rid of the square. This is where things get a little bit different than the other type of problem. So we are going to get rid of the square by doing what, Carl?
Square root.
We're going to take the square root. And remember, a square root, what we're looking for is a number that multiplies by itself to get the number. Alright, on the left side, we don't need to do that because the square and the square root cancel and we just get 2f minus 3, right? On the right side, what multiplies by itself to get 25? 5. Or? Negative 5. Alright, so 5 times 5 is 25. So that gives us one answer. But we also need to remember that negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. So we're going to have another equation that's still going to have 2f minus 3 on the left side, but it has a negative 5 on the right side. So when we take the square root, we need to make sure that we write the positive equation and the negative equation. Does that make sense? All right. Some people have been doing this at the very end. You get your answer and then just give the negative of that also. That doesn't work. You have to do it when you take the square root. All right. Now, what do we do next? Are those our answers?
No.
So what do we have to do?
Add 3.
Okay, so we need to solve the equations, right? So let's just do one at a time. Let's just do this equation right here. To solve that equation, we're going to get rid of the minus 3 by adding 3. So we add 3 to both sides. Those 3's cancel each other out, leaving what?
2F.
8.
Okay, and then what?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2, and we get...
F equals 4.
Okay, so that's one of our answers. Then we need to go over to the other equation to get our other answer. Just to make sure we keep it organized, I'm going to draw my line of equality again. We do want to see that on your papers. And then we need to solve for f here. So what are we going to do?
Add 3.
Add 3. The steps that we're going to take are actually going to be the same because we have the same things to get rid of. We're just going to be adding 3 to a negative 5 instead of a positive 5, which gives us
Negative 2.
2f equals negative 2. And then we divide by
2.
2, gives us f equals...
Negative 1.
So we get two answers here. F could be 4 or F could be negative 1. And if I plug either one of those into my equation up here for F, that equation is going to work.